Hey there, it's Minuet, and today I am bringing to you Green-White Hatebears, which is a deck I've been having a lot of success with recently. I believe I've managed 2 trophies with it this season, I guess is what they call it, and it's been quite fun. There are some weaknesses to it, which I'll get into, but overall I feel like if you're trying to specifically target mono green devotion, you couldn't have built a better deck to do so. And it also is not just only able to beat mono green and fold versus everything else. So the deck, being in green, is going to run the 8 elves with the plan to turbo out a powerful turn 2 3 mana play. And we have 4 main ones of choice, 4.5 technically. But the big 2 I would say are the Brutal Cathar and Skyclave Apparition, which do a similar job, both exiling something, with Brutal Cathar being unconditional on creatures, and Skyclave being able to target any non-land permanent. But Brutal Cathar also has the back half, which I think will likely be relevant in the video if things go our way, since it can flip towards and back pretty regularly, with the exception of if you have Archon of Emeria, where once it flips to the back, it cannot flip to the front as long as this card's on the field, since it is a rule of law effect, preventing both players from casting more than one spell. Now, this card is also incredibly powerful if you can land it on turn 2, due to the also added effect of making your opponent's non-basic lands enter tapped. And in the Pioneer format, where barring essentially, I would say, mono-white humans and mono-green devotion, you're not going to find many basics. Most players are running essentially dual lands. We are doing the same, and a lot of the times your opponent just is completely time-walked for a turn while they play their tap land on turn 2, play their tap land on turn 3, and then finally get to play their actual turn 3 play on their turn 4, so it can be really strong. And being in green-white, we also have our excellent value plan of CoCo and essentially the Slowco, Kayla's Reconstruction, which it's worse collected company until it's not. You get to look at more cards, and it can scale a lot better, but it's sorcery speed, and if you're spending 4 mana, it is a lot worse than a collected company. But if you want to spend 10 mana on it, you're going to have a lot better of a time than a CoCo. It's quite a nice addition. Still probably worse than CoCo, but an incredible card all the same. And we also get to run Augur of Autumn, which is kind of like a future sight if you can manage Coven, but even if you're just playing lands off the top, it's still a lot of good value. This does have some awkward situations where you want to be storming off with it, but you have an Archon either on field or on top, and you get your 1 spell per turn when you really want to cast 2 or 3 off of it. But even if you're just casting 1, it's essentially drawing you a card, which is really good. Now, most of our creatures are 2 power. Pretty much everything in this row, with the exception of Lovestruck Beast, is 2 power. And that can sometimes be a little awkward for getting Coven, but Lovestruck Beast by itself will give you the other 2 halves of Coven with the 1 and 5 body. Werewolf Pack Leader, which is another good value piece for drawing cards and killing quickly, will also pretty easily get you to Coven, and that's being with another 1/1 creature, which you have a plethora of. And I think that's all that I really wanted to talk about in the main deck. It runs some nice hate pieces and has a lot of good matchups into Mono Green Devotion and Lotus Field. Those are both pretty, I wouldn't say slam dunk, because you can still definitely lose to them landing their big dino in Lotus Field, but it's hard for them to storm off with an Archon on field. I would go onto the side and say that we are, I would say, a little bit weak to very removal heavy decks. I don't know if I'd say weak, but we are a dork deck, so a lot of the time we get traded up in value when they stomp our Llanowar Elf and then play the 4/3 body, we're down in value. So we run Shaper's Sanctuary to help offset that. It It also helps into the creativity style decks, which it's just nice to have as a draw engine. Voice of Resurgence is basically our only hedge against control, which I would think is probably our worst matchup. It's really hard to beat them since we are just so sorcery speed and weak to wraths. We don't really have any dies effects that we can take advantage of, and most of our 3-mana exile based stuff just doesn't hit anything of relevance. We also run Guardian of Faith. This has been, after playing this deck for a while, really shot up in terms of how much I value it, specifically into red-black mid-range, because they will pretty much always pack a good chunk of Extinction Event, and having this as a way to dodge that, as well as dodge removal, is really nice. And being flash, it'll also allow you to somewhat bypass your own Archon of Emeria, casting a creature on your turn and then flashing this on their turn. You run Redain, mainly there for big mana style decks and control. It can also come in versus Devotion, though I don't normally bring it in since it really is only there for Karn and Storm. And we have, I would say, better tools for that. Phyrexian Censor is the 5th copy of Archon of Emeria, with a lot of good effects added into it in the Devotion matchup, making pretty much all creatures enter tapped, since we don't run any other Phyrexians, and also being that Rule of Law effect for anything in the format that's not Shieldred. So if you can land this on turn 2 versus Devotion, you're going to be able to get really aggressive, since all their stuff's going to enter tapped, and it also has the same good effect of Archon, essentially stopping them from storming off. You run Elite Spellbinder and Anointed Peacekeeper, which do a very similar thing. I would say Anointed Peacekeeper has maybe a little bit better extra value. I had this come up where I was playing versus the Rona combo, and I was able to name it on Rona, and while it also was good in making them spend more to cast Rona, it also stops the combo, since they have to spend 2 mana in order to do their combo 1 iteration, which would normally net them 1 mana, and now instead goes -1 mana, though obviously they can kill it. And then Spellbinder is a more permanent solution, since they can't just kill it, and it is a flying body, but it is not as good versus activated effects of things already on the field. But this is a lot better versus Greasefang, since you're able to take up our Hellion out of their hand, and so they can't discard it. And on the subject of Greasefang, Rest in Peace is our concession to that deck being in the format. It's a 2-mana answer for it. Really good. Not impossible for them to remove, since they do run Witherbloom Command, as well as some run Abrupt Decay, and then there's Boseiju, but it's quite good. And with the, I guess, uptick in Opus Gearhulk instead of the Worm Xenagos Gearhulk, Worm Xenagos Creativity, Rest in Peace is also quite good versus them, because a 5/6 body is a lot worse than a 5/6 body plus a 4/4 body that draws you 2 and kills all your stuff and taps your stuff down. So it's nice, and it doesn't really conflict with anything you have. So that's pretty much all I wanted to mention about the green-white Hatebears deck. Ideally, we're not going to run into too many Izzet decks, since those tend to be our hardest matchup, as well as control decks, which are definitely our hardest matchup. But I'll see you for match number 1. Alright, so we are here for match number 1 with a hand that would be a heck of a lot better if we had a second land of any kind, but without it, I think it would be a poor choice to keep. Our opponent also is not keeping their opening 7. This is also a awkward hand, given that we're missing both colors and lands, so we'll go down to 5. Not, pleased to have to mulligan to 5, but Lovestruck Beast essentially is 2 cards, so I'm happy with it. I'll put back an Archon, since it's not that great if we can't turbo it out. I'll put back a basic, and we'll see what we can do. Hopefully this is not an attrition deck. Okay, so this is humans. Happy to have a Lovestruck Beast and a Brutal Cathar. Lovestruck Beast is really good on defense. With a 5/5 body. Okay, we can stonewall the recruitment officer this turn, and it looks like they are keeping a 1-lander here. Happy to have a turn to play, which will at least block if they manage to get a Thalia's Lieutenant on the field. And next turn, we'll probably Lovestruck Beast, unless, yeah, well, they didn't get a land. So we might just be kind of fumbling our way to this victory here. I do think I want to land the Lovestruck Beast now. I don't think either of these are a strong exile target, and I could trade the Skoos for a recruitment officer. Don't think I want to do that here. Okay, they did get their land. I expect a Thalia's Lieutenant or a Thalia herself to land. And now every land that we manage to draw is just more gas for our Kaylas. I don't normally like shooting it off for just 4 mana. It's, I guess, a value loss kind of thing where you see that for 1 more mana you can double its effectiveness. But we'll see what our land situation turns out to be. Luminarch Aspirant is 100% getting itself exiled. That is an incredible card in these stalled board states. I do not want it to stick around. They should put it on the Hopeful, I think, just because it's more sturdy. But they could also do Recruitment Officer with the idea that it'll get strong, or it'll make the Hopeful Initiate essentially stronger, because they can't really attack anyway. Okay, glad to have that, even if it's a tap land. And I will be exiling the Aspirant here, hoping to not see land into Adeline. I think I can hold back for a turn. Lovestruck Beast plays defense pretty well. Hoping to not see any of their strong 2-mana plays, but I mean, given that they drew nothing, or no lands rather, it's expected that they have at least 1 strong 2-mana play. Thalia, Lieutenant, another Luminarch, all quite strong. Ossification probably coming for our Cathar. Yep. Not unexpected. I hope to draw a land here because my goal is to, or a Skyclave to get back the Brutal and then exile the Luminarch. But land would probably be the best draw if it's not exactly Skyclave. There we go. So I will be going for our first CoCo style effect. Double Skyclave is incredibly good, especially given that the rest is just elves. Definitely taking out the Ossification with this one, and I think we'll probably fully exile this one. Okay, they're off it, which understandable given that we just essentially 1 card traded for 4. So we will go to the sideboard, where we really don't have much we normally sideboard in. We're kind of pre-boarded to most uninteractive or low interactive creature decks like Devotion and this one. We don't want Shaper Sanctuary, we don't want Voice. Rip is literally useless, and then Anointed Peacekeeper, not good. Guardian of Faith, not good. Redain, not good. The only one I've looked at is Phyrexian Censor, just because it makes their creatures enter tapped, but I think we can do just fine with what we've got, especially if we're not going first. Another 1-lander, but I will not be keeping a 1-lander, and our opponent is also mulliganing. Very mulligan heavy, wow. Very mulligan heavy league so far, but the hands you do get to keep are quite strong. And I'll probably do this. Makes our CoCos off the top a lot stronger. Don't need any more lands for a long time. but we do have a lot of flood insurance with Kayla's reconstruction, which is really nice. Be exiling that Thalia's lieutenant here. Good to see the CoCo. My expectation is that they probably have a Adeline, but at least we can chump block the 1/1 token that'll attack. Okay. I could also block the 3/2, but I don't really fancy giving them a 2/2 when I can just eat this token. And let's see, Brutal Cathar. I was gonna say holding open CoCo is good, but this is literally what we're looking for, so I think it's probably better just to keep them small, and I'm not going to attack. We can flip to nighttime next turn since we'll be holding open CoCo mana in all likelihood. My fear is that they have an ossification. Luminarch Aspirant is not ossification, but it's still quite scary, though we still have quite a few exile-based, and we also have Lovestruck Beast to stonewall the Dauntless Bodyguard. Not attacking. I was not going to trade, but fine. Okay, second CoCo. There is some reason to go for the CoCo now, since if we hit a Brutal Cathar, and if we don't go for CoCo rather, and turn it to nighttime, our Brutal Cathars will just be a 3/3, but I'm okay with that, since hitting literally anything else is fine, and this kind of forces them to play slowly lest they flip Ira's back. It's also a bigger body, which contests Dauntless Bodyguard quite nicely. Gonna put it on itself. They definitely aren't attacking here. Yeah. Skyclave is good, and I like Llanowar Elves more because I started playing in Dominaria. Okay, and they're off of it, so kind of a, I guess I would consider that a rougher start, given that we had to mulligan a bunch, but I think the deck at least performed quite well and showed you at least how good a Collected Company can be into an aggressive deck like Humans. But I'll see you for match number 2. Alright, we are back for match number 2, and we win this die roll. Let's see if we... Okay, they got a companion. Let's see if we can't actually keep an opening 7. I'd say we can. Gigantha means that it could be an Atraxa-style deck, it could be a 5-color mid-range style deck, or it could be an aggressive deck. Regardless, this is a perfectly serviceable hand. We have a good turn 2 play, and we have good interaction into a CoCo. We'll probably commit our overgrown farmland here, just because, you know, we don't have a turn 1 play. And assuming we draw exactly a Werewolf Pack Leader, we don't have to take a damage off of the land. Okay, so this could be the Grixis Atraxa pile. Not really sure yet. Probably know by next turn, but we'll see. Rather skews than Lovestruck Beast, just use our mana efficiently. Okay. Still not 100% sure, but I'm thinking it's probably Grixis Atraxa. Not really a reason to hold back. My expectation is some kind of counterspell. Probably go for Lovestruck Beast Elf rather than, or sorry, Heart's Desire Elf, just because don't want to commit too hard into a counterspell, and this will at least potentially allow us to CoCo next turn. Be very surprised if they don't kill our elf here. Edict, non-token. I'm probably actually going to sack the skews here. They haven't shown themselves to be a graveyard-oriented deck yet, and while elf is more vulnerable, it also guarantees a that we can at least put to stack a CoCo if we so choose. Cathar, not looking to be amazing in this matchup. Let's see if we can't force them to go for like a Shark Typhoon here. And I think I'll, make it obvious we have CoCo, but that's okay. Okay, it looks like a Shark Typhoon now. I think I want to go for the CoCo, but it's like, it leaves us vulnerable to a Transmog, and we already have 2 of our Brutal Cathars in hand. If we hit a Archon, it's good because it slows him down a turn. I think I'll go for it. Definitely can go poorly, and that's one of those not great CoCos. So we're in all likelihood going to be hit by an Atraxa. At least we have a Brutal Cathar for it, but Brutal Cathar is not a great solution to Atraxa when they just kill it with 10 looks. So let's see the Transmog that we know they have. Okay. Well, technically they didn't get a kill spell, but because Fatal Push is not necessarily active. They take Push, Ridge, Artifact. Yeah, they took a lot of stuff. I don't like that. Up to 11 cards. Really fun to watch them do that. But we've been on the other side of things, so can't complain too much. Not going to be great in this matchup, but anyway, we'll get our damage in and hope that they don't have a single way to get Revolt. Because currently, this is a pretty quick clock. If they do nothing, they're just dead next turn. Oh, this does trigger Revolt. Very creative for my opponent. A lot more nonsense for them to get. If they take the Thoughtseize and Thoughtseize us, then we're in big trouble. They did go for the Haunted Ridge. So they're looking like they might Thoughtseize us. Oh, just a push. That's Thoughtseize. So we need to draw another Brutal Cathar off the top here, or a way to get to it to have any chance. If not, we will concede. Yeah, this is definitely a tough matchup. Okay, we will concede. Just because we don't have much instant speed interaction, and they can kill a lot of our stuff. Redain will come in here, dies all the same, but that's okay. And then we'll bring in these to name and hit. And could see Shaper Sanctuary being okay here as well, since they appear to have a decent amount of removal, though it's really just Fatal Push. Skoo's probably not useful. Skyclave can definitely get the axe here. Probably do my standard and cut a couple elves if we're in an interactive matchup. And I think we'll jam this. We could also cut 2 more for voice, but I'm not too keen on doing that. I don't have high expectations for this matchup. This is not like a great hand. But I'm going to keep it anyway. I think our best luck is just hope they never draw anything good, which is not great, but interactive combo matchup that doesn't care about our exile effects is about as bad as you can ask for. Okay. Expected fatal push. They wouldn't have kept a hand without it. Cathar not doing too much in this game. We didn't see any counterspells in the 20 or so cards that they revealed. Okay, well, there goes our Cathar. They'll likely have Fable next turn, which will be tough to contend with. Lovestruck Beast is landing here. Beast has been definitely a strong card, I felt. I didn't really play the red-green boats deck ever, and just having a very strong 5/5 body that is now dead for 3 mana is really good. We'll go ahead and attack here. Might as well go for the Archon here. Maybe it makes their 4 mana play awkward, but in all likelihood, it'll just get killed. Okay, that's bad to see. Okay, they can make a token and a turn if they want to, but it doesn't look like that. They can Atraxa next turn if they draw any untapped land. Yeah, I guess we'll just put all our chips on the table and then likely lose, but that's okay. Very difficult matchup. Just a Fable. Not a great draw. They'll probably kill it when we go to combat. No? Kind of weird. We'll get our draw, which is one of the worst remaining draws we've got left. But hey, dealt some damage, and it'll look fancy when they land the Atraxa next turn. We would need a lot of things for us to manage a win here. Cool. That's not one of them. Not too great after they've already used a bunch of removal. I might as well go for the double attack in the off chance we manage to get CoCo, which then gets us a exile-based removal in response. That's not it. Not it. Cool. We will concede. Not too great, but we'll see for match 3. Alright, we are back for match number 3 with another Giganta deck. I recognize this player's username. I don't think we should keep this on the draw. This is better. Probably going to put back the Cathar. And hope that it's not a super interactive deck. Let's see how quickly we can find out what they're on. Okay, I think this is, yep. It's either the Rakdos sack deck or it is the Convoke style deck. We'll see. We did draw our third land, though it is quite painful. Okay, looks like Rakdos sack it is. Unsurprisingly, our elf is dying. Can pretty much guarantee that your elf will die in this format. Given that, you know, one of the best decks in the format is an elf deck, it's not too surprising. Play this tapped with the expectation that next turn Brushland Skyclave on the oven, or hopefully not the Mayhem Devil that they're going to play here. Hey, I'll take it. I can get rid of the Devil. Gotta have interaction for it somehow. This is definitely one of those cards that's like, if your opponent untaps with it, you are in an extremely bad position. They can sack it. Not sure if they want to. They'll get 1 damage, but if they kill the Skyclave later on, they can get a 3/3 body. So we will see. Lovestruck Beast is quite nice. I like having a beefy body that can play defense. They're down to 2 cards. Oops. Another Mayhem Devil. Yep. That is unpleasant, but fine all the same. They can attack, but they can't like kill our Skyclave unless they want to sack their Mayhem Devil, which I would be very okay with. We will likely go for a main phase CoCo and hopefully hit one of the 6 remaining exile effects, given that we know one's on the bottom. Go for it now. Okay, I will take a Brutal Cathar. I'll probably go for Pack Leader, though I could also go for a double Cathar. Don't think Lovestruck Beast is what I want to do here, though it's activatable by the other Lovestruck Beast. This is a really good hit. I think I'll go for the Pack Leader, just because I want to get a little bit of draw on. My concern is that they are going to claim the Firstborn us. That's kind of the biggest fear I've got right now. Barring that, we're in a pretty good position. Would have rather it been a Skyclave, be honest with you there. Given that they are a deck that can certainly kill our Cathar. And Skyclave is a much stronger solution when they get back a blank 3/3. Okay. Just gonna sack that, looks like. Very okay with that. Maybe their last card in hand is a Deadly Dispute. Would make some semblance of sense why they wouldn't care if it's a 1/1 body. Is this the 3rd? Nope, just a Giganta. Okay, pretty weak turn from them. I will most certainly be getting our draw on, and we will be flipping our Brutal Cathar into something a lot harder to kill. CoCo, quite good. Swing 8. Guess I'd be okay with drawing a land here. Skyclave is really nice. I'll probably hold the Lovestruck Beast and just CoCo on their turn. because Lovestruck Beast by itself can be a 1-card flip back if we ever need to, and making them pay 3 to get this back, quite good. So we are in a pretty good position. Gigantha, we technically have an answer for it here. Doesn't look like they've drawn the strongest, but hey, you won't find me complaining. I guess they did have double Mayhem Devil, which is pretty strong, but not really much follow-up. Okay, we'll just take the 2 non-elf creatures, since I think our mana situation is at least decent. And let's see, they block here. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes, they are dead. Opponent seems to have caught on as well. We could have also pumped either the Skoos by 2 or the Werewolf Pack Leader by 2, depending on how we did it. Okay. Rakdos Sack. I think I would like to bring in Anointed Peacekeeper, just because we can name Witch's Oven, which is quite good, as well as a lot of their other problematic cards. Shaper Sanctuary does not seem bad here, given that they are likely to want to ping down our creatures. We could cut Archon, not an amazing card in the matchup. Probably better as a Voice of Resurgence, which is a lot more durable, but a lot worse when they claim it and sack it. With the rest, I think I'm pretty okay with it. Don't necessarily want Guardian of Faith. And Rest in Peace it has some benefits, but it's not as good as it is into Greasefang or Rogues or whatnot, where a large portion of the deck is turned off by it. So we will jam and see what we can do. Okay, we would love another land here, which I guess is a running trend. Don't think we keep it, just because it's too risky. 2 lands I will keep. Think I want to put back Pack Leader, because Knight of Autumn can rip more lands for us. And this is 2 cards, this is removal, and I'm not putting back a land, so Pack Leader it is. We're a little vulnerable to a turn 1 Thoughtseize here, and our lands will be extremely painful if we have to play 5 damage to ourselves. I'm expecting a Thoughtseize, but if not, I'm expecting a push. Happy enough to see that. My expectation is we'll play Elf, it'll die. Next turn we'll play Amiria's Call tapped, Lovestruck Beast, and then following turn we can either Brutal Cathar if they play a threat, or Augur of Autumn, or Lovestruck Beast. That did not die. I am exceedingly surprised by that. And very happy. Okay, push. Fine by me. Looks like we will be doing a play that we mentioned. I don't think that draw changes anything. Don't expect this to be a matchup where we really want to be casting Amiria's Call. I've had it be very good in the past though, so although it can deal us 3, it can be quite good as well. Next turn, Razorverge Thicket is almost certainly going to be played. I don't think there's a single land that would be played over that. Since we are not going to be playing our Lair of the Hydra. Expecting a Mayhem Devil given how weak their hand has been. Triple black. Let's tap that red now, opponent. Okay, just Fable. I will Brutal Cathar that. Our 3 mana play can take out a third of their 3 mana play. But all the same, they don't get it back. And, you know, we're left with a 2/2 body that, if they don't play a card, can reflip. This Brutal Cathar has eaten a lot of 2/2 Goblin Shaman creature tokens, and I'm quite pleased with it for that. My expectation is next turn, barring us drawing something good, we'll probably augur and hope to rip a land off the top. We will not have Coven, which is a reason that we might want to run out our Lovestruck Beast, but we'll see. 3 mana play again. Is this the Mayhem Devil this time? It looks like that is a yes. Do they have a land? They do. With the second Augur of Autumn, I think I'm more likely to go for it. I could do nothing and just let the Brutal Cathar flip, but I don't like that idea. Okay, Archon is not a land. Let's see what our opponent's got for us in store with a Mayhem Devil they're able to untap with. Thought seizing us? Okay, Witch's Oven. Can start pinging down our things if they have a cat. And if they untap with both Mayhem Devil and Reflection, I think we have like a pretty low chance of making it. Just given that they can make a Mayhem Devil, copy, sack one of them, ping anything for 2, and if they have any other sack cards, we're in even worse of a position. Not much going for them though. With the elf on top, I mean, I was pretty much always going for the Lovestruck Beast here. This will give us Coven if they don't kill anything. We can peel a card off. Land is fine. Probably play it untapped. Skyclave, I would love to have been given the opportunity to cast that this turn, but you know, that's okay. We'll probably at least get another chance to put it to stack. I don't think we'll die before our turn happens, but you know, stranger things have happened with the possibility of double Mayhem Devil with Witch's Oven up. Maybe they'll just fall asleep and it'll go to nighttime, and then we'll be able to rip Skyclave and some other spell off the top. Okay. Not surprised in the slightest. Are they going to steal our Lovestruck Beast and sack it? Nope. I will block. Just because end of turn it sacks itself, so that's 2 damage I don't really want to deal with. My expectation is they'll probably sack this to a Deadly Dispute, in which case I am quite okay. They'll just ping down our 1 power cards. We are off Coven at the moment, and don't have a way to get it back, but at the very least we will be exercising our right to exile Mayhem Devils this upcoming turn, barring I don't really know what they could do, but don't really care to find out actually. And because with Skyclave, it has kind of the old O-ring text. For those that aren't aware, if they kill Skyclave in response, they get a 0/0 blue illusion back, which I'm okay with. Just pinging us, okay. They're gonna play Blood Tithe Harvester? Yeah, that was kind of my fear, since that is really good with Reflection. Depending on what's on top, we'll determine what we do. Okay, with that on top, I mean, we're always casting this Skyclave. I could just take out the reflection. It's so risky. But knowing that I have another Skyclave on top, I'm a little bit more okay with it. Because they can copy this, kill 2 things. Yeah, I think I just do this here. It's really not great feeling, but like, I will do it all the same. And I could play the Archon. Don't think I want to. Archon would most likely be somewhat of a hindrance for us. As soon as we can regain Coven, I guess. Just hoping that they don't have a big go-off turn. They certainly could, given that they Deadly Disputed and have their Mayhem Devil. Okay. They can kill our Skyclave pretty easily here. Like sack a Blood Tithe, target Brutal Cathar. And then afterwards, get rid of a blood token. Yeah, that'd be pretty easy for them to do. But if we didn't take the Fable, they would be able to do pretty much exactly that, except they would also have a blood token. 2 of them, to be exact. So I at least stand by my play currently. I'd love to see on the top of my library next turn Lovestruck Beast, CoCo, or Kayla's. Just because I would like to either have a value play or a way to Coven. Archon, not great. I will be eating the Mayhem Devil. Just gonna sack it to a Dispute. Fine by me. Probably targeting my face. Yep. And hey, the Skyclave is free. Don't think I want to go for an Archon, as mentioned previously. This is the awkward portion of Augur Bottom where you know what your next card is and it's not great, but at least with Double Augur, even if they kill one, we can still clear every land off the top of our deck for a while, which is pretty much what you're looking for in these mid-game grind fests. And we have a lot of 1-drops, though not as many, given that we used 1 beast and took out 2 elves. Okay, just an Epicure drop, which means they have at least, 4 cards that are of decent quality in their hand. Though these Lovestruck Beast and Augurs are doing good work on defense here. Okay. Another blood token for them. That'll allow them to kill an Augur if they would so choose. Not too surprising to see that. But I'm very happy that they're not waiting until the Fable flips where they can just every turn kill a thing, get a loot. Though maybe this means that they have another in hand. They're going to have a lot of cycling. Our opponent is managing to maybe not out-resource us, but they're pretty close. Probably are out-resourcing us with 5 cards in hand. They'll probably crack a treasure and Fatal Push or Lovestruck Beast here. No? Okay. Well, I'll block with 1 Augur, because I like this Lovestruck Beast on defense, at least. I have an expectation that something's going to die here. Okay, just a Deadly Dispute. And hey, I was right, something did die, but it wasn't exactly what I expected. I think if they find another Mayhem Devil, we are in an extremely poor position, given that they have 5 tokens, Witch's Oven, double Witch's Oven, triple Witch's Oven. Okay. Well, if they get a cat and a Mayhem Devil, we're not going to be having a good time here. It's not cat mana, at least, but they do have treasures. If they had cat, they would have just played it on black and played the cat, of course. Elf, well, it'll get us Coven. And with that in mind, I will allow ourselves to go Night to flip the Cathar back, assuming that, you know, they don't kill it here, which they obviously can. Okay. Yeah, I just feel like our best opportunity to win is through chaining a bunch of Augur cards together. And we can't do that with Archon, as mentioned in the intro. And hey, Nighttime Moonrage Brute is going to be quite nice if we can flip it back and eat something of theirs. Is this a Mayhem Devil? Or a Fable? I would much rather see a Fable, just because I think we lose to a Mayhem Devil, but, you know. We'll see what they got in store for us. Our opponent's a little bit more judicious with their clock use, but they have 25 minutes. They're allowed to use it all. Okay, they do nothing. It will remain nighttime. Oh yeah, and I forgot, this is 3 power, so we can just cast this if I so choose, which I do. We'll probably cast another one. Scooz is fine. I really want to eat the reflection, but at the same time, don't think I'm supposed to. They can fire up a hive and double block with that, so probably not. Is this a K command? Don't know why they'd bring that in. I guess we have a bunch of 2 power cards, so probably not the worst thing they could do. Yep, K command, Mayhem Devil, and we are discarding a card, I assume. Yep. I will graciously discard an Archon of Emeria. Go to our turn, and think I have to take out the Kiki here. Is this a second K command? I will definitely discard the other Archon if you give me the chance. Okay. Discard the Archon. I'm definitely going to exile the Reflection of Kiki Jiki. Hopefully they don't have a push here to blank this. I know 2 of the cards in their hand, at least, are not Fatal Push, given that they are shown to us to be Mayhem Devil and Blood Tithe Harvester. Okay. Even if they kill it here, they still won't be making like 5 copies of Mayhem Devil for a little bit. And having an active Coven is really strong. Might not be enough. We'll see. Definitely targeting the Cathar, yep. I can yield through the turn, let them do their thing. We will just have to chain a bunch of nonsense together with our Augurs, and hopefully that gets us there. We'll probably have to commit the Elf, which will likely not be long for this world, but we'll see. We can Scooz, but that is like a 3 mana play to achieve Coven, which I'm not amazingly keen on. These Love-Struck Beasts are doing good on defense. Okay, I'm more than happy to do this now because we can immediately, before they get priority, play the Anointed Peacekeeper. And Skyclave would be better if we had mana for it. Another Witch's Oven, and a Talking Numa. I think I have to go for Witch's Oven here. We can slow down their Witch's Ovens at the very least. Though, yeah, they'll just kill it with Blood Tithe Harvester. Don't really think we have much else to do about that. And we'll just put our hand out there. They'll be killing our elf here, which is, I wouldn't say it's okay, but like we don't have a choice in the matter, unfortunately. They're just gonna shoot us a bunch. Yep. Can't attack, which is okay. At least we still have Coven, and when they kill our Anointed Peacekeeper, potentially, we have an easy enough way to achieve it again with the Skoos. They pitch the Takanuma, and are now back up to a... Ooh, that's really bad. So they can kill most of our board here. Let's see, Blood Tithe Harvester, kill Peacekeeper. Oh, didn't know most of these decks were running that anymore. They're just gonna attack with the Goblin Shaman here. Yep. Love-Struck Beast will be jumping in front of it if we are given the chance. I think we've got enough of them. Not sure what our outs are. They gotta pay 2 for that, opponent. Because Anointed Peacekeeper also affects activated abilities. Which is quite nice in this situation. They can, of course, you know, play around it pretty well, but at the very least, it works here. And I cannot see where these are all facing because they have not put them to stack yet. Okay. 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 And face for the last one. They definitely have their engine online. Okay, Skoos, that's fine. Will make it a lot harder to re-achieve Coven, given that I expect them to Blood Tithe Harvester, kill something, or Witch's Oven, sack something. Suffice it to say, we're not in a great spot. If I see a Kayla's on top, I can at least have some amount of hope. I will say these augurs have really been putting in a lot of work here. I haven't been counting how many cards we've got with them, but it's been a lot. I know we got quite a few cards that are dead, actually, in the grave. And they are sacking... Did not see it. Oh, it's the Oni Cult token. That's fine. Okay, Shaper Sanctuary, not amazing. Not what we need, at least. We'll take one of the problem cards out. We're certainly falling behind a little bit each turn, but that's okay. opponent flips the Fable, which is scary. Third Mayhem Devil. Well, I guess technically fourth, but one of them was cast twice. The Shaper Sanctuary on top is quite awkward to see. They do have lethal. I'll see if they find it. Because 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Well, I think we're already at 10, so we'll see if they find it. I'm glad our opponent's having fun, but they do have lethal here. That'll be nice for next turn. Yeah, this is the awkward portion I mentioned where we have so many 2 power creatures that just make Coven a little more awkward, but come on, opponent, you can figure it out. Yeah, because sack here, sack here, sack here, target anything, that's 2 more, 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you've a blood token. There they go. I think they have found how to achieve lethal with this deck. They also have the ability to make a third Mayhem Devil if they didn't have that much lethal, but, you know, that's okay. Maybe it was the Shaper Sanctuary that made them realize they can't target my stuff, so. They have us. I don't know if I want to change anything for game 3. We did draw only 2 Archons, which is a little goofy, but maybe I want to bring in... Guardian of Faith could be okay. Maybe I bring in 2 Elves, just because I'd like to turbo out my turn 3 play on turn 2. I'll think about it. I just don't think Archon is like at its best in a matchup where most of their power comes from like activating abilities. So, we'll see. Yeah, I just feel like we can probably do better in this matchup than Archon. I think I will go for the double extra Mystic play. Lowers our value a little bit, but not by a ton. Yeah, I just did not want to cast Archons in that matchup at all. That's why I let them just rot in hand. Good enough hand for me. We got turn 2 play, value, value, and hey, we have enough lands to get us there. A little bit of a painful mana base, but that's okay. Epicure, that's fine. Rather that than almost anything else. Third Brushland. We do have the best answer for one of their Mayhem Devils, which I will be holding, even if they go for the Blood Tithe Harvester that they have. Oops, I completely made a mistake there. That is me not thinking. I'm not gonna play the Skyclave just to like try and fix that. That was not great. But what are you gonna do about it? Okay, at least they're killing that instead of Augur, so, you know, genius play by me, I will say. Probably the single best play I could have made. Anyway, we have an answer for one of their Mayhem Devils. I'll play Skyclave and a tap land, since we're not doing anything else with our mana. And we can Kayla's this upcoming turn for 2, which I might do unless we get like a absent turn from our opponent, like a low tempo play. I would feel more inclined to augur and try and peel a land. We'll see. I would not consider that to be a low tempo play whatsoever. Yeah, I think I'll go for hopefully one of our 7 remaining exile-based effects. Just not a whiff would be hoped. Okay, that's not a whiff, but it's not like amazing. Hey, at least we'll have Coven next turn if we augur plus elf. And we can draw with Werewolf Pack Leader, which I'll likely do if we untap with it. If they swing with the Devil, I will 100% trade one. Is this a steal effect coming up here? Nope. Sack the blood token. One at the Skyclave. Draw 2. I do wonder if our opponent can win with 1:40 left on the clock. Don't like to win on time, but it's not like we really can change our opponent's choices of clock management. So we'll play it out. They're thinking pretty hard for having little over a minute left on the clock. They will commit to killing our Skyclave. Still think I'll probably attack with the pack leaders, unless they like fatal push one of them. Would love to see like a CoCo or a Kayla's here. Not great, but that's okay. Think we're committing to this here. Very good. Also pretty good. Now we have a decision to make. Land is always getting played here, because I don't think augur is going on. Cathar can die to push. They probably would have pushed one here. Yeah, I think it's a bit of a risk that I'm not willing to take. That we hit like one of our remaining exile-based effects. Obviously this can go sour really quickly, but hey, what if it doesn't? I'd consider that to be pretty sour when they sack it. Oni called Anvil. Can this sack creatures or just artifacts? Just artifacts. Okay, well, the Mayhem Devil at least will be returning, unfortunately. I think I'd probably block the... I could also double block, but that's not really a good idea. I think I'd block here. Just minimize the damage and make them have to sack it. Opponent's approaching the 10-second mark. Kills one of our elves. Puts us to 11. They are back to 5 seconds on the clock. Well, Skyclave is always the call here. We just need to keep that off the field. I think I can play a little bit of defense here. I don't want to like double attack. Okay, we would hit something nice, but I want to play defense while we have CoCo in hand. Okay, they timed out. Let's see what our next draw would have been. Okay, it won't show us. I feel like we probably win that one. As mentioned before, I don't like winning on time, but our opponent was taking a good amount of time to think about their plays, which I understand with a deck that has a lot of moving parts. I'll see you for match number 4. Alright, we are back for match number 4, going second. Let's see, I would consider this hand to be acceptable. Our overgrown farmlands are a little awkward, but we at least have potentially a turn 2 play, assuming our elf does not die, and we have the mana to cast a reconstruction. Okay, so it looks like we're most likely facing Devotion, which I said was a good matchup. I would like to prove that by winning. We can achieve Coven. I will block that if you swing. Okay. Another farmland. Well, we were planning on playing this anyway, and you know, these are now unconditionally untapped unless they have Strip Mine in their deck. They're entering a Cavalier turn. Just a forest. CoCo will be occurring here. Yeah. Can't exile this to a Skyclave, but we can exile it to not Lovestruck Beast. And hey, all that was we were just getting 6 cards that we didn't want to see off the top. So that for our Kayla's next turn, well, we'll just be guaranteed to hit 2 exile effects. They're on a pretty pivotal turn for mana. Yeah, I would have loved to have seen an exile effect, or would have loved to have seen a Archon. But such is the life of Collected Company players. Storm number 1. What do they hit? Pretty strong. Oof, that's really bad. Turn 4, by the way. Granted, we've done no interaction whatsoever with them, but still, I think we might be losing here. I think a Karn is likely the game if they hit it. That's not a Karn, but let me just yield. That's a lot of Cavaliers, which are very difficult for us to punch through. And they can go for another Storm. Okay. Our opponent has used 33 mana so far, or will have made 33 mana at least. Use 27 of it. Oh, nope, Karn. I will concede 2 Karn. So just blisteringly fast start from our opponent. Don't think we could have done much about that. I'll bring in the Censor, take out a Lovestruck Beast. Probably Anointed Peacekeeper is okay in this matchup. Better than the Lovestruck Beast at least. And run it back like that. I would love to be able to keep this hand with the Archon, but we don't have the land. Okay, this is better. I'll put back a Werewolf Pack Leader. Another awkward thing where we've got like the farmland as our turn 2. Whoops. Might pay mana for the cards that I'm playing. Any untapped land, I'll probably go for the Peacekeeper. I think I will. Just use our mana efficiently. Okay. So next turn can be a Kiora, which I will probably stop to slow them down. Next turn would be 3, 4, but they have Cavalier that they can do. Turn 5. Maybe I do the Cavaliers just because I can kill Kiora. Yeah, I think Cavalier is a little scarier. Cavalier of Thorns. They can Kiora or Wolf Willow, but not both unless I'm completely off my rocker. Just a Kiora. CoCo is quite good. I will... Yeah, I'll probably do the attack into the Kiora here. Actually, no, I've decided against that. I'm going to attack my opponent instead. Kiora just has too much loyalty for me to want to go for that. And I'm going to hold this in case they play a creature, just because I would like our... I guess it's mainly just Brutal Cathar to be better, because our best hit for Skyclave is Kiora Karn and Pelakranos, of which we're not aware of them having any. I could go for the CoCo now in case I hit one of the things that forces them to only play one spell per turn. Okay. We know a good chunk of their hand. I think it'd be silly for me not to CoCo here. Okay. Peacekeeper is good. Augur of Autumn is also good. Could go for the Archon. Think I want the Augur here. Though Archon's just so good. I think I'll go for the Augur just because I can continue to tax them and kill the Kiora if I want to. Okay. Well, I'm going to be naming Cavalier of Thorns again, because I liked it so much the first time. Pack Leader on top. Could also just attack my opponent knowing that they have another Kiora. Yeah, we'll play this off the top. Well, I think I am going to be casting this Skyclave. And I'll exile the Kiora because it represents 4 mana. Or 2, rather. Whereas this represents 1. And attack. Pretty glad that I didn't go for the Archon play here, even though it is like really strong. I think having active Coven, Peacekeeper already holding them back, just seems like the right play. And we can Reconstruction for 2 next turn, if we'd like. And also draw a white source, which I guess would mean that it would be for 3. Is this a Storm that they ripped off the top? Well, at least we know that they only have 2 Cavaliers left. But they got Pelakranos and Old Growth Troll aplenty. Karn would not be terrible. Okay. Would love to see something playable off the top of our library. Currently not lethal. Yeah. I think we're a turn out from lethal even if we draw well. Okay, that is really good. We'll definitely be exiling the Old Growth Troll since it is just way more mana and also blocks. And we get a land, which I will be playing. Elf. Cathar will be nice for next turn. Let's see, if they don't block, they die. If they block here, that's fine. They have to block one of these two, I want to say. Let's see. They block Elf, they die. Yeah, so it has to be Augur or Peacekeeper. And knowing that we have Cathar on top, I want to force them to... Oh, sorry, we also have Skyclave, so they block here. 3, 6, dead. Cool. Well, they're dead regardless. And that's a little bit more how I've had these matchups work in the past. Now we just gotta repeat that, but with our opponent having the turn 1 elf on the play. Don't think I'd change a thing. The Peacekeepers were quite good. No elf. Everything else is incredible about this hand except the no elf and I guess no third land. So I'll probably dump it. Hell of a lot better. Probably been a Peacekeeper. I'm not risking not drawing another land. Turn 1 elf? No turn 1 play. Yeah, sorry these are mismatched, guys. Well, with them having a no turn 1 play, their hand must be really good. They got Dismember end of turn? No. Yeah, that's expected if they didn't have turn 1 elf. Don't think there's a world where we eschew going for Archon here. This could, I don't know, maybe hit a Nykthos if that's their turn 3 land. Scariest thing we could see is Karn downtick go get the Sky Sovereign. That is pretty difficult for us to beat. Ha! Their land that would have entered tapped, enters tapped. What's their 1-card Kiora? Yep, you can tell because it doesn't automatically spend mana for Kiora since she's hybrid. Overgrown Farmland. Think I can hold off on the CoCo at least until their turn. I could go for it now just because they'll have Storm mana available, but I don't want to go for it just because our Cathar hits do literal nothing except for 2/2 body, which is not good enough in my opinion. So I'll just put myself at their mercy and see what their one spell that they want to cast is. Very happy to see Nykthos entering tapped. That's probably how the land should have been designed. Who knows? Okay. 4, 5, 6. Storm. Storming off. Let's see if they get like 2 draws here and put 9 power into play. Nope. I would say that's a heck of a lot worse. That's one of the weakest Storm the Festivals I have ever seen. Would love to see... what do I want to see here? Not sure, actually, because I am going to go for this. I'm not floating 4 mana, but we're not like getting anything out of our Cathars here. Well, I think we'll probably take Llanowar Elves Pack Leader. At least we don't have to draw those elves for the rest of the game, because we don't have any shuffle effects. And I will be probably killing this Kiora here. Just because it is so much mana. And we're not like super close to killing them here. We'll probably play either a Pack Leader or an Archon, depends what we draw here. Skyclave Apparition. Makes me regret attacking the Kiora a little bit, but that's okay. And probably a Pack Leader, because it can do some good work, and we already have our Archon on field. One fun thing that you can occasionally do is attack with your Archon to let your opponent kill it, and then untap, or sorry, not untap, second main phase, cast a bunch of things, and then top it off with another Archon. Probably a Cavalier turn, yep. Don't know why I closed that down. Sad to see a land, because now they can make a heck of a lot of mana. Just 6. They don't even have anything to do with it. Oh yeah, that's right, because we have Archon. My bad. Forgetting my own cards. Well, I'll do the thing, and they'll block with the lair, but that's okay, because we can kill it if they do. We do have to kill them at some point. Brutal Cathar is quite nice. Okay. Yep, we have enough to Cathar plus Archon here. And Elf, which I will also be playing. We'll play this first. Doesn't matter the tapping, but I like to tap properly. Daytime. Elf. Finish it off with an Archon. And this draw 3 essentially per turn is quite nice when we're just digging for our one strong play per turn. And, you know, hopefully our one per turn is stronger than theirs. Time will tell. Old Growth Troll, Cavalier, Storm, Karn, those are all quite strong in their own right. Another Cavalier. Don't like to see it. Okay. Probably just swing with the Pack Leaders here. Get a double draw. Elf, not good. Pack Leader, you know, it'll replace the one that they block. We will kill the lair if they activate it. One mana we don't have to worry about in the future. We can keep our elves back since we're just going to go for a pack leader. And there's not really a reason to flip this just because we don't have a way to flip it back, really. And yeah, I'll just play my land tapped here. They're doing a good job of stopping us from killing them, which, you know, not too surprisingly. Probably fire up the pack leader and attack with an Elvish Mystic this turn. Got a lot of mana. Flashback the Storm, yep. Don't want to see a Karn. They got one left. That's bad. Maybe we'll deck them out, or they'll deck themselves out. Well, that's all the Karns, which is, you know, really good to see. They might start swinging with the Cavaliers to try and get me to kill them, which I'm not going to do. I think Skyclave's better here just so I can take out an Old Growth Troll. And there's not really a reason to attack in this position, I don't believe. Really looking for, I guess, CoCo or Kayla's. But I don't think I'm attacking just yet. I'm not that desperate to throw away two of my creatures. Do they have a second storm? Not yet. We're putting them through a squeeze, but we haven't gotten them squished just yet. They've got all the mana they could ever want. Polakranos, that's your turn. Fire up Lair and attack, and I'll chump block with an Elvish Mystic. Or maybe they flip the Polakranos. Well, they can do everything. They can do everything they want. Pretty good. Not gonna attack with the Lair. Fine by me. Would love Kayla's to be the top card of my library. Second most, would love to see CoCo as the top card of my library. I'll just take it. I'm not killing it at the very least. I don't want them to put Karn back on top. Okay, well, we didn't get what we hoped for. If our top card is like Kayla's or CoCo, I'll probably have to kill my creatures. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Probably swing with Pack Leader, Skyclave, Elf, and then we can go for... Well, I guess we did do that on our next turn, my bad. So we will not be doing that this turn. If it were CoCo, I would do it a little differently. What do they still have that's scary? More Cavaliers, more Old Growth Trolls. They got one more Cavalier. I think that's about all. I'll probably all-out attack here. No, just a Polakranos. Polakranos and Cavalier. I'll throw away an Elf. I think we have enough mana here. I'm not inclined to put the Werewolf Pack Leader in front of it just yet. Othanissa. That's their one card. Okay, Kiora. Don't really care about that. Peel land. I want that CoCo. And so I'll take it. Let's see. I can pump this. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'd swing with that, which I don't like. I think I can probably do Elf Pack Augur. Yeah, or Skyclave Pack. We're definitely attacking with Pack Leader and Skyclave, I think. And don't think Augur's going to be doing as much as we want it to be doing here. Well, we get another Augur, so we'll be okay with ourselves. We can Kayla's for 7, which I'll probably do just because it's pretty funny. The likelihood that we get a 7 hitter is pretty much 0, but you know, that's okay. Looks like our opponent's taken a big, probably 2 damage. Yeah, you probably should block the Werewolf Pack Leader because I'll pump it if you don't. Okay. I understand why they'd block like that, because they don't, you know, see that the Augur's on top. Well, we don't either anymore, but that's okay. Seven cards, 7 looks. We know at least an Augur's on top. Okay, I will consider that good enough. Sad to see these 2 go to the bottom, but happy enough to exile Pelacranos since it is 3 CMC, even on the back. Scoos can eat all 4 Karns, and then I can block the Cavalier, or I can just like block the Cavalier and whatnot, but a little bit worried about just dying to... Oh, that is the last Cavalier. A little bit worried about just dying to Lairs coming down. Storm is scary, but you know, I'll eat it. Probably do that and take 5. They get a 3/3. Not in the best position, but that's okay. We're not done yet. Land. Do not have Coven yet, but I could get it. Don't know if Skyclave is what I want as my 1 card per turn. Always exiling this anyway. And then I think I just play a Phyrexian Censor as my 1 card. And if we didn't have Archons, we could technically cast the Skyclave, but, you know, we do have Archons, so we will not be casting the Skyclave. And let me just verify. They don't have a Storm currently. Okay. Well, we can eat quite a few things if we'd like to block a Cavalier, which I'm feeling like I might want to do. Or rather, might have to do. Surprised they're not like spooling up double layer of the Hydra, splitting the attack and attacking us with 6 creatures. No attacks. They're just gonna go for the Kiora we know about. Old Growth Troll? Sure. Whatever makes you happy. We will be exiling that at our earliest convenience. That's their one spell. See what we get. Just a Skyclave. We still have like a bunch of Cathars left in the deck, don't we? Exile Old Growth Troll. And I think I'll start eating creatures. Get our life total up a little bit higher and make this a better blocker. Okay, this game is going long. I guess this is a very long deck to play. Lovestruck Beast. Well, you know, don't really want that on the top, so we'll take it. Archon, that's fine. This will enter tapped. And we don't really have any good attacks, and we're not flipping Brutal Cathar. If we can avoid flipping Brutal Cathar, we're good. If our opponent was like more aware of what was going on, they would probably just pass and flip our Brutal Cathar so that the 3 remaining in our deck, I think it's 3. Yeah, the 3 remaining in our deck are just useless. Old Growth Troll. Tapped. Are they doing the lair play finally? I will just put an elf in front of it because I don't think we can make our Scavenging Ooze like a 2020. We can make it pretty big though. No, not quite there. 15 power. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We don't have enough. We're actually pretty close to being able to do that. Oh, 19. Sorry, I didn't see that. We're not that close to 19 power. If they attack with the Cavalier, we will block it with our skews and then eat whatever. Or we'll just eat the Cavalier itself because it has to exile as part of the resolution. Okay, everything? Not everything? Let's see. Block like that. Block like that. We can get this to kill itself at some point if we want to mill them for the last 5. I think I block here because we don't really need the 3rd Rule of Law effect. And then I think we can let 5 slip by. Can we just kill them on the backswing, actually? Let me think about this. If we block a little bit differently. Let's see. If I just throw away an elf, we're going to have... Let's say I blocked like this. 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they're just dead. They realize it too. They shouldn't have all attacked. So we would have blocked like this, eaten elf, and then Cavalier dies. It'll target Karn almost assuredly. We'll eat the Cavalier, and since it says exile it, and if you do, we'll exile it, and then they won't be able to exile it themselves. Anyway, that shows the mono-green devotion matchup, which can be a slog, don't get me wrong, but is in our favor, mainly due to the power of Archon slowing their combo down a ton. I'll see you for match number 5. Alright, we are back for our 5th and final match of the league. We are going first, and our opponent has a companion. What do they have? Looks like we're going to be ending this like we started, with 1 landers, but I'm not keeping it all the same. Much better. Probably been a farmland, just because we will play our elf, it'll die, pack leader, and then Skyclave. What do I want to see from them with Kahira? Well, I think it's always control. Still think it's control. Which, you know, pretty tough matchup. I'll probably go for Pack Leader and Lovestruck Beast, which I'll go for first, just in case they get any wise ideas about spell piercing this. Okay. Yeah, Kahira, I can't think of anything else that would play it unless it's a elf deck. Or sorry, not elf deck, elemental deck. With the planes, I think we're pretty certain that we know what it is. Pack Leader. Well, I think we'll probably play the Pack Leader here, since this plays around Censor and Make Disappear. And it also is quite good if we untap with both our Pack Leaders, since I hear drawing 3 cards per turn is okay against a control deck. Now they do have a pretty high propensity to exiling our Pack Leader if they have planes. Oh, is this just cycle? Yep. If they have planes plus, I forget what the 1-mana exile card is called. Lay Down Arms, I believe. Yeah. If we're wrong, which we're not, we'll see it hit the stack in a second. No, nothing? Maybe we'll be able to beat them then. We are entering the turn where they wrath our board, which is unpleasant, but you know. I think I swing everything. Good. Very good. That might actually allow us to win after wrath. Okay, looks like a shark. Or, yep, shark eat elf. Probably should have played the Temple Garden first. That was not the best play I've made in my life. But it doesn't change much here. They're down to 8. There's no way they have any idea what we're doing here. So far we've used all our mana every turn. Wrath? Yep. Alright, now we're just going to hit 8 power. I guess technically we should do it in the end step. Not like it matters. There are no 0 mana cards in my opponent's deck. But it's best to practice. Lovestruck Beast would be better if we had a 1 mana, or 1 power card. Pack Leader is gonna have to do. Elf off the top is lethal. Lovestruck Beast off the top is lethal. Augur of Autumn is not lethal, but I think we attack him for 5. Yeah, Elf off the top would be good. Expect a Teferi here. Now I expect a Emperor here. Thicket. Well, at least we can exile the Emperor after they exile our creature. No surprises here. Now we're in a worse spot, to be sure. Because they are no longer in range of 1 attack, and I mean, unless we get Lovestruck Beast able to attack, which we still do have like 12 ways. I'm Not sure of the number. Teferi here. Yep. Cannot exile that. Okay, they are going for a safer play. CoCo off the top would just be our best one. This is kind of interesting. Okay, Reconstruction we will go for. They don't run Spell Pierce. Cathar, and yeah, that's game. I think we needed to hit exactly those two. Because now we can attack, unless they have white card plus March. So yeah, I think that's the only way we could win, and barely squeaked it by. Voice, Guardian, Redain, Spellbinder, Peacekeeper, Cutback, Scooze, Skyclave is not great. Cathar is even worse. Even though it killed them, it's still not great. Archon can probably trim there. Let's see. Shaper Sanctuary is okay. I don't really want that anyway, though. Censor, not great. I think this is our best bet. Definitely drew really hot there, and I think that's how we managed to not lose. I think this is too awkward of a hand. Tap land, not double green for turn 2. I think we can do better. This is better. I'll keep it. Probably put back Skyclave. Lead as we always do with the elf. And again, Dominaria elf. Probably play elf plus beast. Just too important not to slam 3-drop and then get it 4 spiked and lose. But this is nowhere near the pressure we'd like to have. Jesus. That's not good. Probably go for the pack leader here. Jeez, like 3 for 1 dust for 3 mana. Well, we spent 3 mana on 3 cards, so it is fair. Well, they're stuck on 3 lands. Speaking of the 3s. I'll just hold open the Guardian here. It's relevant both as a protection and a flash threat. Could go for the Archon. I don't want to. Are they going to exile? I will blank that if I'm given the chance. This paying costs, like taking so long, normally makes me think they are. But they're reconsidering because they think we got CoCo, which is why I shocked. I do think I want to go for this, even though I know they've got the exile thing. Or an absorb, or, you know, whatever else they've got. I'll phase it out. That's quite nice, given that they are hurting on mana. Get my extremely nice card draw. And what a nice card it is. They're on the clock. don't want to see absorb here or make disappear. This landing is incredible for us. Shark Typhoon, fine by me. Kind of surprised they didn't do it on their turn, but maybe they have Censor. Yeah, just being able to essentially, well, assuming that Redain doesn't get exiled for 1 mana, slow them down by a good amount of time is really good in this matchup. Brimaz is scary. Think I probably all-out attack here, and they'll eat the Guardian, but we'll draw a card and can deal them 5 damage if we so choose. I don't think doing nothing is our plan. Anointed Peacekeeper can be nice. I think I am going to want to deal the damage. Excuse me? Oh, blocking that creature. Very cool. Did not know that's how it worked. I'm going to do this here. Get my kill. And pass it back. Okay. They are still 1 mana away from wrathing our board. But maybe the Anointed Peacekeeper will not get countered. Okay. We do have, like, a pretty decent reload with Kayla's. Put him down to 2. Peacekeeper, the only thing that can stop this is a hard counterspell like Absorb. Like that one. I will not be committing any more to the board here. Because we know they're going to wrath us here. Which will cost them all of their mana. No, they're not going to wrath us. We're at least insulated against exile from Wanderer, but they can still put it in front of the Guardian and just take 2. All the same, we're still going to do it even though we know that's what they've got. Or do they have another Shark Typhoon? Nope, it is as expected. We'll go for the farmland, and I don't think I want to go for the reconstruction just yet. I think I want to put just enough on the board that they have to wrath, but not so much that we lose when they do. Because they would need a Shark Typhoon to stop this. There we go. Well, I did not expect to win that. Yeah, 4-1. Would have liked a 5-0 as always, but you're not going to hear me complaining too much about it. I think that the match that we lost was pretty expected. Very high interaction deck with a combo that we struggle to interact with. I think our only way to interact with it is CoCo into Brutal Cathar on one of their tokens, or Anointed Peacekeeper or Elite Spellbinder and keep him down. But it's very difficult with the amount of interaction and value plays that they have. We got to show off our advantage versus Devotion versus humans. We got to show what happens when you draw 1 land as both players, and then you mulligan until you don't hit 1 land for us. And versus Rakdos Sack, I would say we were probably going to win that one, but our opponent did time out, so consider that how you will. As for the deck, still very fun to play. Augur of Autumn, such a very powerful card. I did not expect it to be so strong when I first laid eyes on it, just because I didn't realize that it could play lands at any point, not just with Coven, and even just peeling lands off the top sometimes feels better than casting creatures, especially when you got Archon. Didn't get to show off too much of how good Archon was, except for in that Devotion matchup, where it solo carried us. I'd say we got to show pretty much everything except the Rest in Peace. Everything else came in one game or another. So yeah, that's Green White Hatebears. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.